So good morning, everyone. This is Palm Saturday, the Saturday before Palm Sunday, and in this whole week, every day has a particular mystery. If we really want to get into the sense of what we're living today, these are the highest mysteries of the Christian faith: Easter, resurrection, but also Friday, the death on the cross, the tomb, and resurrection. So we want to move into that, but as the gospel is teaching us for tomorrow, it can't just be a mystical memory of something that happened in the life of Christ. It has to be our life lived. If I'm not living out these mysteries in my day-to-day choices and movements and decisions, then all the rest is just, as I say, a mysticism that doesn't do anything for us. And maybe that's why we live in a time when so many people are disaffectioned with the church. Even probably somebody might be listening to this. We have to, it's not the church institution, but the church of Christ we're talking about when we talk about church. So today is commitment, and that would be the need to be identified by, with, or through a unique dedication. And again, that unique dedication is the essence of who you are, that breath of life that God seeded in your material, in your being on the day of your conception. God had a thought, He breathed that into you. His breath invaded your body, your becoming, and we need to release that. That's the whole idea. That's what Christ was, following the way of the Father, following the will of the Father. That's what that means. So to release the will of the Father that's within you, that was seated in you when they gave you His breath of life, and that brings with it a challenge on releasing that. We also find ourselves, which would be the counterpart of need to be identified, is the inhibition to be signed with one alternative. So we find ourselves desiring to want to become, but then there's so many options, or I need to conform to society. I get bogged down by that. Well, we need to get beyond that. We'd have to keep moving and keep that in a balance. I live in a society, but I have to become myself. Otherwise, I'm a false self. I'm not a true self. And we need to avoid our false self. We need to release the truth of our being. To do that, we have to move, and we have to keep moving. So the idea of tomorrow, Easter Sunday, or Palm Sunday, is procession. That's the mystery of tomorrow. Procession is the drive to publicly display a commitment to a particular centering. That centering is God, and God in His breath that's in you. That's where I find God. That's where I need to tie into God, because in my uniqueness is the breath of God, and that's how I'm going to get to know God, through releasing the unique self that's in me. And I need to publicly display that. That's what Christ does tomorrow. Rides into Jerusalem on His donkey. Now, what are we going to do tomorrow to put that into movement? Again, or we're living it out in our life, or it's just a false something. It's not gonna speak to our depth. It's not going to satisfy our search for life. And so we need to take concrete, conscious decisions to move towards release, or an ever deeper releasing of the truth of our being, the truth of the will of God that's in us, as Christ did. And the counter to that procession is the tremor, that the truth of the centering will be rejected, that the truth of our being will be rejected. Well, that's part of it, because I could, releasing myself, showing myself to the universe, to the world, to creation, because there's also very often a lot of cultural pressure on us to conform in a certain way and not to be a rebel. Again, Christ was the biggest rebel of all time. He rebelled against, in order to release the will of God, He rebelled against a system that kept people from being able to become who they were truly called to be. This Easter week wants to accompany us through an intense week of formation, you could say, an intense week of becoming, through the different mysteries that we face in that everyday part of our life. So commitment to a centering, to my truth, procession, I want to put that into movement publicly, even though I feel the tremor of going against society, going against culture, going against whatever impedes me from realizing that. So that's going to be, it's going to be a tough time because we'll get to Friday too, when the mystery is no law, actually. And that's part of becoming, is I move to a time when I feel alone, you know. And but then we always have to keep present on the horizon is where we're going. And where we're going is Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday is resurrection, is new life. If we concretely move through this process, then we will know new life. We will know the cross, but the cross and Easter Sunday are not separable. You can't separate one from the other. And you cannot only live the cross. If you think, oh my God, I'm always on the cross. Well, you're not making a decision that will help you move beyond the cross. An decision is embracing your cross, embracing the difficulty of your becoming, and moving on towards the tomb, which is Saturday night is the mystery, and Sunday, which is resurrection, new life. And so the invitation is to live concretely, live actually your becoming in life. Don't just think of mysteries, but live it. Take conscious decisions that will allow you to move ever closer to the truth of your being. Thank you.